Welcome to Talent Experience Live,
your weekly look at all of the hot topics in HR.
People are 28% more productive when they use vacation time.
Involving themselves very deeply in diversity and inclusion efforts.
Ramping up college recruiting and career fairs.
Artificial intelligence helps automate certain tasks.
50% more applications. How do you make your company culture still stand out?
What does that look like in this new virtual world?
Welcome everyone to another episode of Talent Experience Live. Of course, your weekly look at all of the hot topics in HR, including interviews with leaders and our favorite HR technology. Today, we'll be covering everything that you need to know in recruitment, talent acquisition, and talent management. And as always, we do that every day on your favorite social media channels. So be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and never miss an episode that we produce because Natalie, I think we do some good things here. My name, I hope so. As always, this is live, so definitely hop into the chat, fire away your questions, comments, concerns, answers, fun facts, what you're doing this weekend. We love to hear from you, and the interaction is truly what makes this special. I am Devin Foster, and your Huckleberry for those Tombstone fans out there. If you haven't seen the movie, definitely watch it. And of course, I am joined by Natalie McKnight, my co-host. Natalie, I know we have an exciting topic today. Would you do us the honor and introduce it to the crowd?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like I say this every week that I just love the topic we're talking about, but I really do. This is one of my favorite things to bring up with our customers at the importance of video and the fact that you can be budget friendly when we're creating videos, right? And I think it's something that when we talk to customers who are trying to get their arms around how to introduce video and sometimes get overwhelmed that, we have to have all of the right things in the right place and have a whole crew, and that's simply not the case. I think we're all watching more videos in quarantine, but what we found, and a stat that we actually pulled from Nielsen, is that 85% of the US internet audience watches videos online. And with Gen Z entering the job market now, and over the next few years, it's important to note that Gen Z streams video for roughly 24 or 23 hours each week. And they're not doing it with crazy camera equipment. It's, they're streaming videos on their phone. They're making videos on their phone. TikTok is a really good example of content that's created with mobile devices. So, we want to talk about how you can take advantage of that and create budget-friendly content that sticks with your brand and reaches the talent that you're trying to grab a hold of.
Absolutely, Natalie. And I think one thing that you pointed out is that people are doing this at home now, right? With the use of their fancy iPhones, and there's 3 cameras on this phone, which is absurd. But they're doing this in the comfort of their own homes, and they're not using flip phones, right? And a huge aspect of that is that a recent survey from Verizon Digital Media found that time spent watching a video with poor quality dropped almost 77%. When that quality was low, that's huge, right? That means if you click on a video and it's not up to your standards, you're not watching the video. But they also found that 85% of users online expect a TV quality experience for every single video that they watch. So that means whether they're watching Netflix or whether they're watching videos that you're creating for your content and for your candidates and for your organization, they expect it to be the best of the best. And today we have a very special guest who is typically behind the scenes, making this show exactly making this show as TV quality as we possibly can, to explain to us some of the pitfalls and some of the things that you can avoid when you're sharing video content with your candidates and with your internal and external talent and keeping them engaged. So with that, we will bring on our guest. I halfway expected Jim Carrey on that from the Me, Myself, and I movie. Justin Dett, welcome to the Talent Experience Show. Welcome from behind the curtain, and thank you for joining us. I know that you are a digital marketing designer, and as in true form of this show and weekly episode, we always like to ask, how did you get into where you're at right now? So you probably had aspirations to grow up and become the next Stanley Kubrick, but how did you become such a vital part of Phenom and the production value that we have with all of our content?
Oh, that is a long story. I wouldn't say Stanley Kubrick, but some sort of director. That was probably in the works until I got to high school and realized that was unattainable. But I've always had a camera in my hand since I was like in middle school. So cameras have always been a part of my life. I went to school for film and media, and I just found my way into actually fashion photography after school, which is interesting, but I was still making videos and creating content all the time. And then a friend of a friend actually worked at Phenom and recommended me, and that's all it took. As soon as I saw everything, I was hooked. Yeah. And like you said, you let me out of backstage, and I'm much more comfortable there. So this is brand new.
You're doing great. You're doing a great job. So I'm so excited to talk to you about this. For those watching, the customer success team leans really heavily on Justin to help us with hype videos and all that cool video content that you see is, Justin is integral to the creation of all of those. So super excited to pick your brain. But what are some of the most effective forms of content right now that you're seeing out there in the internet world?
In the internet world, I think that's that you talked about with people streaming 23 hours of content. I think I'm responsible for like 40 hours. So I spend lots of time online, and video, obviously still number one. I think it's number one for like 4 or 5 years running. I'm slightly biased because it is my job, but I really think it can accomplish so much. Like it can take the place of any other format. Like if you have a picture, why not a video? Get it?
Just they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, so a video must be worth quadruple that, right?
Yeah,
and what you're saying is Post-it notes and flip books are not the most effective form of content, which the inner note taker in me is heartbroken by that. But for the people looking to create content and they want high quality, maybe stock footage of the city that they're located in or the city that they're going to open up an office, are there any sort of websites that they can download some free material and leverage to embed with some of their success stories or really candidate stories that they're producing?
Absolutely. And I know you're the king of this, Devin. You're the king of presentations and balling on a budget when it comes to that. If you need some new photos, freshen up some emails or maybe like a cover photo for a new event you're having, myself and Devin usually check out these sites. One is Unsplash. The other is Pixabay and Pexels, Pexels. Tons of incredibly talented people just post their photos on there for free without any copyright restrictions. And they're all pretty eye-catching. Like if I go to a career site, sometimes I feel like I can tell when you're looking at a stock photo that they've used, and it's nice, but it's not exactly eye-catching, and it comes across a little standard. But I think, Devin, you can attest to this. Some of the pictures on there, they're a little more artsy. I think they fall into that category, but they definitely stand out and catch people's eye.
They certainly do.
We recommend all of those as well for our customers in like email campaigns and things like that as well. I find something new every time I'm on one of those sites, which is awesome. So what are some of the challenges and pitfalls specifically, with video, and especially since the majority of people are working from home now?
There are definitely tons. Like you mentioned in the beginning, quality is a big detractor, and that goes for audio and visual. You don't want to hear a microphone cutting in and out in a recording or a very poorly lit video. And I'm 100% guilty of this, especially nowadays. Devin can attest, half the time I'm sitting on my bed with a bright, wide open window behind me in a Zoom meeting, and it's the worst possible lighting. Even though we're remote working and people are a little more lenient, like if I see a recorded Zoom meeting or something used as a video, I'm like, all right, I get it. We're all virtual. These things happen. You're doing the best you can with what you have, but you can really tell the difference. And just a few tiny tiny little adjustments can make a huge difference in that. Top 3 things I would suggest if you're using a phone for a recording, just a tripod. I have the shakiest hands in the world. So anytime I'm trying to record a handheld video, it's kind of Cloverfield-ish. A nice small little ring light, something like it can attach to your computer. It can go on its own little light stand. It will change the world versus just overhead lighting that you may have in your house.
I got this at Amazon for like $3, and it's not. The difference that it makes is
crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think we can thank vlogging for all of those changes.
Yes, I want to be Insta famous, Justin.
Yeah. And if you have the budget for it, maybe even upgrading your microphone. Every microphone is going to be a little bit different, but the ones on our computers probably are not as good as something you can attach like up to your lapel, like a lavalier mic. It's going to be a world of difference. Let's see, another pitfall. Sorry, I got a couple. I'm big on the pitfalls today. A big pitfall I see all the time is length, and we talk about it all the time. Keep it short, keep it simple, like 1 to 3 minutes, especially when your target audience is candidates. If they're job hunting, they're not going to want to sit on a job page and watch literally a full day in the life of somebody in that particular job. And I know it can be tough to trim things down. So like I try to focus on 3 focus points when you're coming to a video or a day in the life, which is, like I said, it is tough. But if you think about most of the time, the introductions can be a big time suck, and you want to introduce the topic. But then by the time you're actually there, you're like 30 seconds into the video. And it's like, how do I cram everything else into this little bit? So if you keep an intro to like 1 to 2 sentences tops, you'll be at the keys much quicker, and it saves a ton of time. I always liken that to those recipe pages where you're going looking for a recipe and you get the whole backstory on this person's family and like what it means to them, instead of just skipping right to the recipe. I just want the recipe. I appreciate the story, but I just want the ingredients. That's it.
A lot of those like websites are doing jump to recipe links now, and I'm like, oh, where was this 2 years ago when I was trying to build my recipe repertoire?
Everyone's been locked at home, so they have no time to watch the intros anymore. It's like, just teach me how to do it. Yes. I had this discussion with our boss Justin last night, JD, around how TikToks are doing how-to videos, and because you're forced to have such a short amount of time, there's no longer, you need to purchase this, you need to purchase this. It's here, I'm going to smack 2 chicken breasts together and all of a sudden they're going to be fried. You know how to fry a chicken breast. So it's moving the things along much, much faster. And just forewarning, I'm sure Justin will use at least 6 more cooking or baking references in this, because that is his passion aside from cameras, of course. Now, Justin, you mentioned camera phones and how that they can be an asset. But you also mentioned that the use of a tripod is very important there. Should an individual who is looking to host or put on some sort of video use their computer webcam or camera phone? Kind of what does that look like?
I'm slightly torn on this. I think it could be a bit of a 50-50. Phones nowadays are crazy. They're like yours has 3 cameras. It seems a little excessive, but they're very good. I would just make sure if you're going to use a phone, getting a tripod, making sure it's stable so it's not handheld and shaky. It's a little disconcerting when you see videos like that. And also landscape all day. It's something I see on the internet all the time. Anytime somebody films landscape, everybody is much happier. You got the whole screen. Might as well use everything, not just the strip in the middle. I think the only time I could think of using a vertical video is maybe you're sending an SMS campaign where you know somebody's going to be watching on a mobile device. Like that, I think it's acceptable to shoot vertically, use everything. If they're just going to watch it on their mobile anyway, then that's perfect. Or if it's a TikTok, I'm really not sure about TikToks.
So remind the audience though, like what is landscape, what's portrait?
So landscape and portrait. Landscape all day. It feels a little weird, especially if you're holding it, because you're like, I'm not used to holding cameras like this. It's just this all day, but it is much, much better.
No, it's a huge tip, and it's infuriating to watch a video and then you rotate your phone and it just jumps back into the middle. So I recently did a webinar for Gen Z, and I think it was on average, only 8 seconds of videos are watched. So that jumps back to that point of get to things quick. And if the image doesn't look right on someone's phone, they're going to find the next video, right? There's so many, there's like hundreds of thousands of hours of videos uploaded to YouTube each day. You need to find a way to get yours to stand out. Now, Justin, the next question that I have for you still has to do with cameras. And that's, I've noticed a ton of external webcams all over Amazon. They follow me no matter where I am on the internet. Would you say that it is better to go with a cheap, ineffective external webcam over a camera phone or over a built-in webcam if you're hosting your event or if you're trying to record some video?
Yeah, I'm also slightly torn. If you're going to invest in the camera phone and you have the quality there, definitely use it. Just make sure you're doing it right. But if you're going to be using a webcam or your computer, I would always suggest getting a little upgraded one. You'll notice a difference immediately. And I actually have some examples. This is kind of going into another point we're going to talk about, which is lighting and proper lighting. But you'll notice a difference immediately with anything that is an external webcam over what's naturally built into your computer. So let me just add that screen. Oh, sorry, Tom. So this is just, please excuse all these pictures of myself. I had nobody else to do it with, so this was just me. So I took some screenshots of if I were using a Zoom meeting, what it would look like with a standard webcam. And if you're using different kinds of lighting, you can see crazy variety in terms of what results you get. Like I said, sitting in my bedroom with a window right behind me, probably the worst thing I could possibly do. Having it directly in front of me, it's kind of acceptable, but you'll notice if I switch to an upgraded webcam, immediately, if my lighting is correct, instantly better in the window light over here. Instantly better, brighter, more crisp. It looks way more professional. And then if we want to make everything great, where we do an upgraded webcam and do our lighting the proper way, it looks like I was almost filming with a camera. And then you'll see on the right is the same lighting setup with a standard webcam. And you can see the differences almost immediately. So I almost always recommend, I know they're getting a little pricier now that everybody's been buying webcams, but the difference is immense.
Yeah. So in building off of lighting, what are some like more affordable options for people if they're looking to get started with this?
Definitely. Like you said, Natalie, that little ring or halo light puts off a ton of light, and they're super cheap nowadays. Thank you, vlogging. They're getting cheaper every year. And if you're using it properly, if you frame it properly, if you have it directly in front of you, it's just going to brighten you up, soften your features, diffuse some shadows, and like emphasize you and make everything around you a little bit darker so you know you are the focus. And then I am always going to be a spokesperson for natural light. When I was doing photography, it's the easiest and cheapest light that there is, turns out, and it's also a pretty big light. It can be the worst, like I said, with having a window behind me, but if I were to turn right now and face my window, it's very soft, it's very natural, so use what you have. But if you're able to afford just like a small ring light, or right now I have a 2 light setup behind me, so I'm a little fancier than most, but just 1 ring light it's a good option.
Yeah, there's a lot of great options on Amazon, and window light is huge. I used to do photography too, so I'm kind of nerding out here, but yeah, I mean, if you, yes, but but like if you have natural light and you have sheer curtains, like that's going to diffuse that light, and it's something most people have in at least one room in their house already. So if you're standing directly in front of that window, and right now I'm kind of at an angle, so I have a little bit of shadow, but typically the way I have it set up, it's coming right at me, and it makes everything softer, even, lit up. So anything that you can do, like just if you don't want to go the route of the ring light to diffuse the light coming out of your window, that really helps too. And IKEA has curtains for $3.99 that can do that too. So if we're really talking budget, we can do that.
You can make it work.
Yes.
I mean, these are great tips, especially with mail being what it is right now. I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard, there's a couple things that are traveling through the mail over the next few weeks. A lot of people are concerned about it. So if you are concerned about getting some video equipment, you can always do some of these fun tips and tricks at home in order to make for better quality video. Now, Justin, the next thing is a personal frustration of mine. And it happens a lot when I'm on the phone with my loved ones or, with my family and friends, and that's sound quality. I don't think that there is anything that frustrates me more than having sound cut in and out. I'm sorry, can you say that again? And I'm sure we can all experience that from our first few weeks in quarantine and Zoom meetings. Is this mic on? So for the microphone issue and sound issue, what can you do to improve that and make it as seamless as possible for the end user?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So actually, all three of us have different microphones right now. I think Devin has probably the fanciest microphone. I'm using the microphone on my webcam, and I think Natalie probably has AirPods. And you can hear quite a range of difference between all three of those. But one thing you can do, even if you don't have anything fancy, if you don't have Devin's microphone, is just limit any distractions and any ambient noise. Like if I had my AC on right now, you would hear it clear as day. It'd be rumbling, and it's something that'd be such a difficult sound to remove if I were even editing it myself, trying to remove any weird frequencies. It really makes a difference. Also, if you have a place to record that has less echo, like I'm in my living room right now, it's probably echoing a little bit, but if I had some carpet or some couches around, they're going to dampen those echoes and absorb some of the sound. And it's going to make things sound much clearer. But also, if you can, there are some pretty cheap USB lavalier microphones on Amazon. Plenty of other sites, they'll just plug right into your computer. You'll hook it up, it'll attach right here. If you're doing something, if you're recording something for candidates, for even a Zoom meeting, you'll be the clear voice amongst all the others.
Very true. So where should you house your video content? If you're looking for, places to I know storage is a big thing, right? So saving videos, like how do you go about doing that? Because they do take up a lot of space.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. If you have any sort of Google Drive that will host all of your videos nice and easy. And also, if you're trying to make things public, I think it's going to vary from company to company. If you're on the smaller side, hosting things on your company's YouTube page or Vimeo or something could work. People are a lot more likely, in my experience, to click externally to a video site they recognize, like YouTube, like Vimeo, rather than a Google Drive link they don't recognize. But also, if your company's on the larger side and you have tons of roles to fill, it may be worth looking into your own YouTube page for your specific area and for recruiting purposes. Sometimes if I go to a career or a company site and I see recruiting videos mixed with some of their more corporate product related videos, I'm a little like, what's going on here? So if you can separate everything so that the intent of those videos is a lot clearer. And I think also you'll get, more job applications, because even if they weren't interested, if you have a recruiting video for such and such job, maybe they weren't interested in that job, but they're on your specific recruiting YouTube page, they jump over to another day in the life video of another role that just catches their attention. You never know what you're going to get. And also, if you're capable, if you can host it on your job site or your career site, 100%. Have as many videos on your site as possible. It's going to boost your SEO score. You're going to keep candidates on your site with all of that rich content and just enhance their candidate experience. And it's more likely to be viewed, more likely to be shared, and you're just going to get way more applicants out of it. More videos.
Yes, more videos. Now, Justin, I would be remiss to mention this next thing. But before we do that, for those of you just joining us, we're on with Justin Devitt. He is our video guru, helping you create content for everyday applications, whether it be a webinar that you're hosting or just a video that you want to put on LinkedIn or YouTube. I'm more likely to click on a video on YouTube than anything else, and I think that goes for a lot. But what I was getting to was Phenom hosts videos on their career site and as well as in their campaigns. So definitely check that out if you want to leverage video in another way rather than just housing it on YouTube and having to send people to that link. A question came in through the chat from Tom Tate, and that question is, what easy programs could they use to capture video on Mac and or PC?
Absolutely. Zoom will record anything. You can record your screen, you can record any sort of meeting, you can pin videos so you're only recording a specific person. One thing I love to do, I don't know how many people know it, in the settings of Zoom, you can record everybody's audio separately, so you're not getting that overlay of everybody talking over one another, which can get kind of annoying if you're trying to edit a Zoom video. And also QuickTime, just available on anything. You can screen record. You can screen record just a section of your screen. It comes in handy all the time. It's a lifesaver.
Are there any editing tools on the back end that are inexpensive so that somebody doesn't have to shell out for an Adobe Premiere license or something along those lines? Because it does add up. So any websites or quick applications that somebody could download aside from TikTok to edit their videos?
TikTok's not bad. If it works, it works. Yeah, definitely. I know editing and software can get a little expensive and there may not be room in the budget for that, but now there's tons of open source projects and software that you can use. Even if you're just looking to like trim the ends off of a video, maybe you started that record a little too early and you weren't ready, you can do it with QuickTime. Just super simple, trim the ends, bring it in. That's gonna up your video quality and make it a little more professional. I know there's plenty of times where I start my Zoom meeting and I'm trying to end it and I'm scrolling around looking for the stop button and it's just an awkward 5 seconds. So if you're looking to do that, just use QuickTime. If you need to like splice a few takes together of something you've recorded, there's still free options out there. You don't need to go for the Adobe Creative Cloud license just yet. If you have a Mac, iMovie, always there. OpenShot is an open source project or software that works great. And also, if you're recording on your phone, there are tons of free apps. Adobe has Premiere for free on your phone. Nice and easy. UCut is also another option. And even if you're looking to learn a new skill, dive a little deeper into the video pool, you can get DaVinci Resolve, which is a very professional program. So it's probably going to be a little tougher to learn on the beginning. But if you want to keep learning videos, get better, DaVinci Resolve is free and you can get very technical with color correction, masking, all sorts of titles. You get the point. But also, the last one I want to mention, I forgot about this until last night when you mentioned you would ask this question, is Animoto. It's something that I could see recruiters and recruitment marketers using a ton. It's a browser-based editing service. You got tons of templates to choose from. Last night, I took the liberty of just throwing together a highlight reel of our walk for wags that we did last year because, I mean, who doesn't want to see dogs? Who doesn't want to see dogs?
The best day at Phenom. It was Bring Your Dog to Work Day for those of you watching. The best day ever.
And let me just pull that up real quick. Like that was 10 minutes of my day is just dropping those pictures in there. It works with video clips too. So if you had some employees maybe record some parts of their day, if you want to throw together a day in the life video, you can easily just drop all those in there, throw those texts, those titles over top, 15 minutes start to end. You get music, you get those titles. You would have to pay a little bit to remove the watermark. It's around $33 a month, but like unlimited videos, and it may sound a little pricey, but if you want to create a video or a day in the life for any job posting, it's worth thinking about fitting into your budget.
That's really good to know. So a question came in while we were chatting about this from a friend of the show, Dobby Gibson. He's one of our customer contacts, and he's asking if there's any tips for adding professional looking branding to videos like logos or text cards. I mean, Animoto looks like it's probably a pretty good option for something like that, but anything else that you can recommend?
That is definitely a good option. I also, if you have the time for it, I would maybe reach out to your creative team. If you can get them to just create lower thirds for anybody you think is going to be on a video, those can be reused over and over and over again. And it's something that'll probably take like 5 minutes of their day, but that really ups the professionalism versus just the person talking. If you get their title and their name, it helps.
Justin, what's the lower third?
So it's the thing that I put on any of Devin's videos and then has a little sarcastic bit below it. But it's really just person's name, probably their title, maybe something you want to mention about them. Like Devin's, I would say, yes, exactly.
So now I know what to call it when I complain about it to upper management about the cruel jokes that you have been making towards me. Justin, this has been spectacular. I think that Animoto? Did I say Animoto?
Yes.
I am sorry.
Animoto. I completely forgot about it until last night.
It reminds me of BuzzFeed's videos, and people love BuzzFeed videos. So I think that is a great place to start, even to test it out. If you're looking for budget, you can make a sample with that watermark on it and then send it over to, the powers that be to get that approved. But this has been spectacular, super insightful, Justin. I really appreciate it. Last question for you.
Boy.
Any parting shots, 3 tips, key takeaways that you would like to share out? If there's 3 things that someone could remember from this, what would it be?
I would go back to probably just the pitfalls. So quality, number 1, up your production quality and your lighting and audio, just a tiny bit. Anything you have currently, work with what you got. It'll make a difference. Keep things short, keep them simple, 1 to 3 minutes tops. Keep that audience engaged and get them moving along right to the next video. And then also another thing that we didn't mention earlier is authenticity. I think it's a big focus when it comes to video, especially now. Video is a great medium that humanizes your company and it'll show your company organically. And I think leveraging any employee content is just, it's vital. There's nobody better to speak about your company than the people who actually work there. So leveraging their thoughts and experiences is a great start. Maybe you get on a Zoom call with them, ask a few questions and record some answers and throw it together in Animoto if you want. I think that's a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say too, just to add to that, if anybody's looking for inspiration, I mean, the Phenom career site, the work that Justin's done is awesome. It's amazing. So if you're looking for ideas and things like that, hop onto our YouTube channel or our career site and take a look at some of the stuff that's put together there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we're perfect. We're still learning. There's always tons to learn, but I think we've got a good start.
Yeah, definitely. Hop on our YouTube channel, like our videos. There's an incentive bonus for Justin if that happens. It may just be cookies, but there is still an incentive bonus attached to it. So definitely like our videos. Justin, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. I'm sure that I will chat with you later this afternoon about some sort of lower third or video content, but we appreciate it and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, Justin.
Wealth of knowledge there.
Yes, always. Although I'm kind of disappointed to hear that the incentive was not a matching hat to the one that you're wearing right now.
I think that if you are trying to showcase your company culture and find some videos, number 1, find somebody in your company who has a mustache. We need to normalize mustaches out here and wear some funny hats, make it engaging, have some fun with it. There's too many stuffy videos on the internet. We're filled with too many bad stories in the news and everything along those lines. I think it is important to have fun with this sort of stuff and get creative. And Justin certainly helped us out with some pointers. And I learned something new about you, Natalie. I didn't know that you had a creative background with some photography and some cinematography. So we're going to have to start using those tools as well with our videos. But
absolutely.
Thank you so much again. I'll see you next week. I know next week we have a special guest, Resource Solutions. And we're talking all about CRM. So definitely check that out. If you forget often, just subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to LinkedIn, subscribe to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We'll post it on there. We'll probably post it more than once. So definitely check it out. And we'll see you soon. Natalie, thanks again.
Thanks, Devin.
All right. Bye.